fish cardboard box. Big fish, little fish cardboard box. Yup, 7-0.
He done well there, didn't he?
He always does it. He pulls it out of the bag.
Fairness to him.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the LFC Daytrippers Transfer Agenda Show. I'm your host, Keith Plunker, and I'm joined by Grizz. Grizz was meant to be here, but he couldn't make it. So we're joined by Gav and Andy. How's it going, fellas? How are you?
Great.
All good, Keith.
Brilliant.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure to be stepping in for Grizz. I feel so knowledgeable here now with all his notes in front of me.
Well, look, Grizz may be the front man of the transfer game, but it's Andy Young that puts up the red alert sirens on Twitter and gets the place in a frenzy on a regular basis. So I think we know who the real power behind that throne is.
Well, I did say there'd be some signings this week, and I know there's one very close. We're going to talk about him tonight.
There could be several close, but yes, we will be talking about one that's very close that we have on good authority. Gav, what about you? How are you, my friend?
I'm great. People are commenting on the intro music. Barry Carr in particular, he said it's dire. It is. It's terrible. I done it on purpose to annoy Grizz, but no, we've sorted out new intro music. That'll be with you on Thursday. But no, other than that, yeah, I'm in great form. Great form.
I think the intro is very good.
Yeah, I thought it's all right as well. You know, nice bit of
Thursdays will be even better, lads.
Oh, we look forward to it.
Yeah. I'm putting it out there as an intro, ITK, that Thursday's intro will be even better than what you've just heard not 2 minutes ago.
Look out for it. Yeah, look out. Watch this space.
Are we doing another Anfield agenda index transfer agenda thing on
Thursday night?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday night, yeah.
We are, yeah. That's the night, yeah. The Anfield Transfer Agenda Show. We'll be back to you then, you know, because this is what we're all about. It's the summer, it's transfer time, and it's all about that agenda. But Liverpool, they don't do anything in the transfer. It's all going Manchester, lads. Man City have signed Fernando Torres tonight, and Man United have signed Jadon Sancho. Or have they? What do we make of the news that's coming out this evening about the Sancho? I'll go to you, Gav. The Sancho deal looks like it could be stalling, or is it just people looking for clicks on articles?
I don't know. There's some fella called Romano or something, is it?
Yeah, Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah, he's being given quite a lot of update on this, but David Ornstein's come out tonight and said that there's no fee being agreed with Sancho. Personal terms have not been agreed. They're quite far apart on the valuation, and August the 10th, which was supposedly a deadline for why August the 10th, I don't know, but at least I don't know why they've put that down on it, but they're basically saying that it's an unrealistic target now. United may be looking at other options if they can't make this work. Then I seen something else that said that United are telling Dortmund they're willing to walk away because they feel that the transfer fee add-ons and players' wages are being a little bit unrealistic and not reactive to COVID. I don't see that as an argument. If Borussia Dortmund want to tell him it's 150 million and Jadon Sancho wants 400 grand a week, he's quite entitled to. It's not his fault the pandemic came along, you know, and he has to earn his living. I don't know. It could be posturing. It could be something where they're trying to pressure him into taking the deal because no one else is willing to go close to that sort of money, but I still think they get it done, Keith, I'm being honest with you.
I agree, but the numbers being mentioned, Andy, have you heard any of the figures involving the Sancho deal? What's 110
anything from 90 million to 150 million plus mental wages for a 20-year-old. These sort of deals end up stinking. I'm sure FSG outs heads are falling off at the moment because every player that gets linked with us and every player that Liverpool fans invent that's coming to Liverpool end up going to a rival. But a player who's that young and demanding that sort of money and not kind of looking to come to a club that's going to win trophies and going to compete in Europe and going to compete at the top of the league every year, I don't personally want them. But I mean, that's all. Look, it's all media stuff, isn't it? Really, only United would pay a player those sort of wages, and it doesn't really make sense. Fairness to Solskjaer, he's steadying the ship there a little bit. I don't see the sense in them forking out so much money per week on a player who's going to play in a position where they kind of have 3 nailed on starters.
That's a very good point, Gav. What do you think of that? Are they strengthening in the wrong area at Man U, do you think, or is it just a move that makes sense? And if we could have done it, we would have done it ourselves, or is it a thing that the money just doesn't make sense for the profile of the player? Obviously, Liverpool are in a different stratosphere to Man U, but is Andy right? Do they need to spend that money on a right-sided forward with the options they already have?
I think, he's a fantastic player. He's one of the most hottest properties in Europe, probably alongside, well, the untouchable Mbappe that it'll cost an absolute fortune to get out of Paris Saint-Germain, and Kai Havertz.
He's on the list for later.
Is he? And Kai Havertz. Should he be strengthening elsewhere beforehand? Keith, it's a very hard question to answer because you don't know what's going to happen. Similar to, we don't know what's going to happen with Liverpool between now and October the 5th when the window closes. We don't know if this is United's first splash in the market and there could be 4 or 5 of them, or they've just decided we're going to go balls out, put him in the team along with Fernandez, Martial, Rashford, whoever it is, and just go for it and see how our defence copes. They may rate their defence, which is not a great thing, to be honest with you. If it was me, people have said they should sign a new goalkeeper. I don't fully agree with that. The guy has gone through a patch of form there. Now people are saying, oh, he's going on a year. No, he's still making good saves most weeks. I don't think the defence in front of him does him any favours or fills him with any confidence. And I think he's nervous because of that. I would have been looking probably at a centre half of them, possibly a left back, and possibly something in midfield. A little bit more mobile than the Man United before I went for the likes of Jadon Sancho. But when these deals come up, clubs decide to take the plunge, because if you come out the other side of COVID and Jadon Sancho has a good season and you go back next year, it's 150 million, and he's wanting to come out with 300 grand a week, not start on it before tax. So it's one of those where you don't know. But this is United. They could end up signing this fella and putting another 150 million down on top of that for 2 or 3 other players, and you go, yeah, all right, fair enough. And it wouldn't surprise you.
It certainly wouldn't, and it's looking like what was originally going to be a bit of a seller, a buyer's market this summer is turned into a seller's market all of a sudden. Andy, do you think it's the start for United, or do you think it's sort of this one big deal and then try and get a couple of scabby ones in as well?
I don't know. It honestly, that story was a bit out of the blue today. I just feel like it's one of those that's just trying to drum up a bit of transfer news. People crave it. I don't know. All I ever hear is United with trying to deal with their debt, and then they're overcommitting to those massive sort of wages. I don't see huge money being spent this summer. I see business being done semi-normal. Players will move around, but unless someone throws massive money into the pool, it has a knock-on effect all over the place. The same money gets spread around. Then I don't see it.
It's an interesting one, already. And just so all the listeners know, this isn't a Liverpool specific show. It's the transfer show, covers everyone. So in case people are wondering why we're talking about Man United and Jadon Sancho, we'll be looking at several Premier League teams as well as Liverpool news as well. But yeah, Sancho to Man U, will it, won't it? It's one that you can see going through, and you can see maybe another couple of players going in there. But do you think it makes the difference to them in catching us? Do you think it's going to bridge, what was the gap, 35 points or something like that? Is it going to make that points? 33 point difference, Gav. Can you see them bridging that gap with a Sancho?
They score plenty of goals, United. Yeah. Especially after COVID, they score plenty of goals, but they can see the fair few as well, and like if you look at, we had the best defence in the league and we won the league. We scored 85 goals I think in the league this season, which is about 2.5 goals a game, is it? It's somewhere around that, a little bit under that probably. But I don't know. I think they need more than that. I think when you do look at, like, people are saying there, De Gea is being poor for a while, but most weeks you see De Gea, he's okay. It's just when he makes a mistake, it's magnified because A, they're usually shocking, and B, it's David De Gea. But when I look at it, like, I like Brandon Williams, that young lad that plays for him. I think he's a cracking player.
Signed the new deal.
Wan-Bissaka works if United are looking to sit back, defend, and hit on the break with all these players are talking about. Maguire is just, I don't know how anyone rates him at 85 million or anywhere close to it. And, you know, Lindelof, boys, people like that. I just don't think they have enough defensively as a unit or individually to go and win a title, even with a Sancho in it. Now, having said that, I said it the other day, they could turn out to be the 13-14 version of Liverpool next season, or they could be the 14-15 version of Liverpool, and they are fucking miles apart from each other, both those sides. So you don't know what way they're going to show up. It could click and they could just go, listen, we're just going to start steamrolling teams. But to me, United look like a team that they're going to flat track bully. They're going to pick 14 to 14 teams in this league, and they're going to go, we're going to beat them twice. It's 28 games, I'm going to win them fucking all, and that'll give us 80 odd points or whatever. And then we'll see how we do against the top 5. That's, to me, looks like the way they're going. But I don't think it'd be enough to get close to meet us and City. Right now, as we speak, I would say it's not enough to get close to meet us and City. That's being honest with you.
Yeah, Andy, what do you think? It's too far of a gap at the moment, but can you see them getting there if they continue these sort of signings, or are they just papering over cracks?
Yeah, no, just agree with Gav. The areas they need to strengthen is at the back. It's the age-old saying, you can't win a league or you can't challenge for a league without defence. It was what done us so many times when we came close. You can't concede goals. You can't make stupid errors. You know, even when they were scoring all the goals throughout the COVID, there were so many silly errors between De Gea, Maguire, and other players in midfield, Pogba included. Yeah, they might flat track bully and they might get a lot of points, but there's going to be other teams who will have the balls to come at them as well and expose them. You know what I mean? There's quite a few teams that traditionally got bullied who are well able to play and attack now. So they'll be found out again. Unless they buy a centre-half, left-back, De Gea miraculously improves, or else they bring back Henderson and see how that goes for them. I can't see them coming close. I mean, I think they've probably, 66 points the last 2 seasons. They've probably got a 76, 80 point season. You're going to have 90, 95 now to challenge with City and Liverpool. So I'm not too concerned about them.
Yeah, no, I'd be of the same opinion there. Will O'Moran puts a point up there. He's sick of looking at players going to our rivals. Any player we are linked with seem to miss out on. They've seemed to miss badly, need to strengthen because we get injuries after the season we've just had. And this is something that's going on a lot. People's heads are exploding about transfers to other teams.
It's actually mad because I'll put it to this way, right? This is all, in my opinion, a lot of this comes from people reading media reports and supposed quotes and thoughts of players and pinning themselves to it. Now, I'll go back again to Timo Werner, right? And people said Timo Werner had his arse out in front of Liverpool for the summer. Timo Werner was all he wanted was Liverpool. Timo Werner never said all he wanted was Liverpool, ever. And people will say, we would have wrapped it up before COVID. We would have wrapped... Listen, all these clubs would tell RB Leipzig, if Timo Werner is on the verge of moving anywhere, we want to know about it, right? Same way, if we were trying to sign somebody, Chelsea might say we keep us informed, and vice versa. Chelsea would have always come in with that money, all right? And Timo Werner didn't only want Liverpool, because if he only wanted Liverpool, he would have said to Chelsea, "No, yeah, grand, I'm going to let this run out, and Liverpool are going to get me for 30 million, and I'm going to go and sign for 150 grand, because that's all I want." Not true. Jadon Sancho's the same. I've heard the same line come out about Jadon Sancho. Oh, he wants Liverpool. All he wants is Liverpool. Jadon Sancho wants the best deal for Jadon Sancho. Okay? Yeah. And Jadon Sancho can go to Manchester United, be really good and great, right? And he's starting off for a wage of 300 grand a week before tax, okay? If he does really well, he could go... He could put another 10%, 15, 20, 25%, I don't know, 50%, and I don't know what way that works. But Jadon Sancho goes to Manchester United and it doesn't work. Jadon Sancho gets another move, right? And he probably spends 2 years there on 15 million quid a year. He walks away with 30 million, and Jadon Sancho's grand. There's not a scratch on him. So Liverpool are never going to go at 300 grand a week. It's just simply not working. And I seen one thing tonight with regards to United, and one of the things that came out was they don't like the amount of money that's being talked about for Jadon Sancho's wages because they're afraid of squad harmony. Now, people might laugh at that, but United not 6 months ago were talking about looking at the Liverpool model. And the Liverpool model is people are on basic, and it does range from one end to the other, but they all get bonuses, they all stick together, there's a great harmony, and what have we spoken about since Liverpool have basically won a league, being confirmed and lifted the trophy, how close these lads are together. And it's a fair point. Jadon Sancho at 21 walking into Manchester United on more or less the same money as David De Gea and Paul Pogba, and more than Harry Maguire, more than Marcus Rashford, Martial, Bruno Fernandes and whatever. Surely someone was going to look and go, what the fuck's going on here? In a personal way. So for me, you know, it's we haven't missed out on these players. We've asked and we've been told we have money and went, no, not for us. It's not happening. That's my opinion.
Andy,
yeah, 100%. People talk about. I'm reading the comments here as well. Our targets. I mean, we don't know who our targets are. This stuff isn't transparent. Like, people, a name gets mentioned and then it goes like wildfire on Twitter, right? And then it's just assumed that Klopp wants them, the player wants Liverpool. How many players have we seen strongly linked? And then they just go elsewhere. I mean, they go to second-rate team in Spain or Germany, and they disappear off the face of the earth. I mean, people were creaming themselves over Teixeira a few years ago, and he went to China. You know, it's crazy. When Klopp wants a player, everything has to be right. And if it's gonna, I've no doubt about it. We wanted Werner, right? I think the proposition for Liverpool was very much misaligned with the proposition Werner wanted. Werner wants to come into a team, be the talisman, play every game. That's not happening at Liverpool. That's the difficulty. You know, we need to be searching for players that are going to improve on our squad. But we really have a very strong 11. And there's nobody really weak enough that we have to really replace. I mean, is there? So by bringing in players, they need to be of a certain level and have a certain ambition. So when you see these things like our targets, look, they're not our targets. They're not our targets till they're in advanced talks, right? Then believe it. And they're holding up the scarf at Anfield. That's when we know we wanted the player. Discussions took place. Their ambition aligned with our proposition, if that makes sense. And the deal was right for everyone. I mean, we're not going to be bursting our wage budget for a 20-year-old. You know what I mean? We're not going to be doing it for Werner, who's going to play second fiddle to Salah, Mane and Firmino. Let's be realistic. I mean, looking at a few of the players you've listed tonight, Keith, they're more realistic to what, you know, we've got players like Lovren leaving, and, you know, obviously Lallana's gone as well. You're going to be bringing in players who are a little bit fitter and a little bit hungrier. Just not your 150 million players. We've done all that spending in Van Dijk and Alisson. You know, we've made one of the best 11s in the world. So I think people need to relax when they refer to people as targets, because we don't know what our targets are.
Yeah, true. I mean, and Gav made a good point there. You know, people say we missed out on Werner, we missed out on Sancho. Yet we haven't bid and haven't made any attempt to sign these players. Whether they were on a list, I'm sure they were. I'm sure the list has everybody on it. Liverpool are stupid, you know. And when we mentioned some of the players that are being linked with us currently, whether true or not, people will have never heard of them, but I'll guarantee people's heads will be exploding if you don't sign any of these players. And it's just the way the transfer game works at the moment. But with Sancho, before we move off them, like, my thing on Sancho is he's had a couple of disciplinary issues at Dortmund. Now, right, he's a young lad moving from England, going to Germany and not reporting on time and things like that. Is there a risk with a move like that as well? You know, are you bringing in a player that's maybe not as focused? That he's a very good player, and I don't know what Jadon Sancho's like, obviously, as a person, but is it a risky one? Is it a player that you bring in and is agitating for a move in 3 years, and, you know, you're putting all this money in it? It seems a weird one to me, to be putting all that money in for United. But if that's what they want, you know, let them. That's their business. I want to move off them, and I want to look at some of the other players, a couple of other rumours and deals that are sort of in the pipeline as well. And before we move on to Liverpool, some of the other Premier League teams. So Højbjerg, the Southampton midfielder, is being linked heavily now in advanced stages with a move to Spurs for 15 million. As Chris Bracktrue in the chat earlier, Everton bid 25 for him last week. So it's, desperately didn't want to go there. So 15 million to Spurs. Andy, what do you make of this? Do you think it's a good signing for Spurs, or do you like Højbjerg? Are you a fan of his, or what do you think?
Would say I'm a fan. He's just striking now as a bit of a journeyman. If he moves from Southampton to Spurs, has himself set up for a really good Premier League career by saying Southampton. But I did read he was a bit of a handful in the training ground, and he's had hassle here and there. So Southampton could easily replace him with someone that kind of works out a little bit better. He won't make Spurs any stronger than they are. And Jose just fuck him up anyway. So it's yeah. He's always struck me he's carrying a bit of an ego with him.
Yeah, so he likes to go in and sort of throw his weight around, and
that's not going to work out too well, Jose.
That's true. Gav, do you have anything on Højbjerg? Any opinion on that deal? I see Kyle Walker-Peters going the other way for 12 million, so it probably makes sense in that.
He was on loan.
Regard.
He was on loan with Southampton for the second half of the season, I think. I vaguely remember him playing against Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, Kyle Walker-Peters. Højbjerg, he's been at Munich, hasn't he? He's gone to Southampton. Yeah. He's definitely looking at Southampton as a stepping stone. Spurs makes a lot more sense than Everton, because if you look at Spurs' track record over the last 4, 5, 6 years, they're constantly in European competition and Champions League for the majority of the time. They've had a blip this season and they've changed manager, and I think they were fourth in the form table since Jose's come in. So he has them not playing great football, but he has them being effective. And when you have a really bad season and a bit of turmoil and you're into a new stadium and things are going against you, sometimes you have to sacrifice great football for results, and you just need to get yourself back in the Champions League, and then you can look to progress. Will that happen under Mourinho? I'd be sceptical, but if you can get back in the Champions League and it's not happening with Mourinho, you can get rid of him, you know what I mean? And you have players playing, getting decent football at the highest level. Spurs makes an awful lot more sense than as I said, Everton, because Everton's a sideways move at best, I would say. It's a sideways move, so we'll have to wait and see. He's a decent player. He comes in there. There's been links, of course, with Spurs and selling Ndombele to Inter. So could that be something that makes sense then? And reshape the midfield, because Ndombele, I think he's a really good player. I just think he's been a bit unfortunate at Spurs, and he finds himself there when Pochettino's not in the best, and then he's probably been shackled a little bit by Mourinho. But if they get it, if he's looking at Højbjerg, he's probably looking at reshaping his midfield slightly, and playing Højbjerg that little bit deeper and see how it goes. But it's a good move to Spurs. It's not a good move to Everton. But 15 million is a good price. It's a good price for both sides, I think. And of course, with that thing going the other way, that transfer going the other way, yeah, listen, they both come out with what they want, probably.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win all around. I think, 12 million for Walker-Peters. He's done well there at Southampton in a position that they needed when they let Cedric go to Arsenal. That they done well, and you can see in Spurs. I know Eric Dyer has now been converted to a centre back under Jose, so that's another position gone out of the midfield. So it could work out. I don't see it being a huge game changer for Spurs, to be honest. I can't see it pushing them, but it could be a Mourinho type of signing, just plug away in there. A lot of traction in the chat there about Mel Reddy breaking news that Liverpool could be interested in Jamal Lewis. Forget about it, because I've spent all day reading up about Konstantinos Tsimikas, the Greek left back, so I'd much rather we talk about him. Yeah,
I spent the last 5 minutes just before we came in there researching him. So it's a pity now.
No, it's not. They're on Twitter. The Daytrippers are confirming that Tsimikas is on the verge of signing for Liverpool. But look, we'll move on to Liverpool because it is hopping in there. Jamal Lewis being mentioned. Gav, what do you make of that? Do you think the figure that looks to be going around is 10 million? It makes sense, doesn't it? It's something that you could see them doing.
It's listen. When we talk about forward players for Liverpool, we're talking about someone that's going to be big money, because they're not a backup. They're an alternate, if you know what I mean. So you want them to have close enough to the same output as our forward players. When it comes to left back, this fella's like, all things being equal, this fella plays 6 or 7 games a season. You know, League Cup, FA Cup, a couple of starts in the league, especially if we're still in the European Cup and look at the rest of the player here or there. It's 10 million, you know. Tino there says backup is more expensive than our first choice. We found an absolute diamond in Andy Robertson.
Struck gold on that.
You know, I think if he goes and has the season he has in his first season at Liverpool for somebody else, and then Liverpool are looking to sign him, you're probably quadrupling that sort of money, you know, that kind of way. But 10 million left back, I've heard he does a bit of centre back, but I'm not too sure. I've no problem with it. I don't want to go down the road of 15 and 20 million for a left back. He's 10 million. He's young enough. He will be coming in knowing he's back up to Robertson, but pushing Robertson at the same time. And I think it would work out well. I think, I don't think it's a bad deal. Now, you were talking about this Greek lad as well, but I like the fact that we have a player, although relegated, he's had a season in the Premier League. He knows what the pace of it's like. He knows how it works, and it gives him a head start on anybody else that might come in from a different league when it comes to coming in, settling and stuff like that. So, 10 million I think is about right for what you want to do there, and it doesn't hinder you too much. I'm saying that we're all presuming we're massively hindered. I'm not going along with that theory. No. But 10 million to me is about right,
Yeah, it seems in line. As I said, my boy Tsimikas is I'm going to talk about him now because I've used a lot of ink on this. 24-year-old left back, plays for Olympiacos in Greece, and he was lined up to sign for Nice, but it hasn't happened yet. Now, Dan threw in the chat there that he doesn't know if he'd be eligible for a work permit, but sure, we'll leave that up to the others to decide on. You know, like I said, I've invested heavily in this fella, so I want him in. But the figure that's been bandied about for him, and the only reason I'm sort of bringing it up now, is that they're looking at sort of 7-8 million as well for him. So it seems to be a figure that Liverpool have for a backup left back.
Yeah.
And it's all tying in. Other names were linked, like Leif Davis off Leeds, a young lad who's broke into the Leeds team. Be getting for about 3 million. You know, there was an Argentinian lad that Grizz mentioned, Benaribi. He would no chance of getting a work permit for him, but you'd be looking at 3 or 4 million, you know. So they do seem to be in around that price range. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jamal Lewis being somebody that we do go for. The only thing that surprises me is he is very much a left back, Jamal Lewis. I thought he might look at someone that's maybe a bit more versatile.
Yeah, can do a bit of both.
Yeah, but no, why not? Because it's going to lead on to another player, and that's Aissa Mandi. I see he's getting a lot of mentions in the chat as well.
I seen Stephen Mack saying, just sign him for the song. You know, when you think of Mandy and the song you sing, so we're not going to get into that.
Mandy, give us a bar.
Oh no, yeah, I'm going to get into it. Okay, fair enough.
Gave without taking.
There's when Melissa already bangs out an article like that into mainstream news, she's normally on the money. She gets a lot of things first. I would have been surprised, but we've been heavily linked with him. But I mean, he's played pretty much every game for Norwich last year, and now to come into Liverpool and kind of play 5 or 6 games. Is he hungry to do that? Does he think he can challenge Robertson? You know, if Robertson got injured or anything, maybe it does happen. But yeah, like your man Tsimikas, Keith.
My boy.
You've been following him for years, in fairness.
Big fan of his work.
As long as I've known you, you've been going on about him, like when he's playing schoolboy football in Greece.
I have it on me new Nike Liverpool jersey. I have him on the back of it already.
Yeah.
Did you get one free off Nike as well?
I did, yeah. Tsimikas number 19 on it.
Oh man, they are fire.
Keith was over in Skiathos on his holidays, and he seen him playing, and
never forgot it.
Yeah, so in fairness, he's been chasing him for a long time. But apparently he has all the numbers that Klopp looks for, the sprints, the kilometers, all that shit jazz that he looks for. He's probably determined to find another kind of unpolished gem, as he did in Robertson, and just get someone in cheap. It's just a tricky one, isn't it? Again, bringing in a player that knows that they're probably only going to play 5 or 6 games, failing an injury. At least with the Mandi fella, like he can going to play across the back.
Yeah.
So if he came in, he could probably play right back for Trent. He could probably play left back for Robertson, and he could probably play next to Van Dijk when so needed. So these are the signings that kind of make a lot of sense. You know, you're kind of 5-10 million for backups, players of the year left on their contract, players that were relegated, just taking advantage of opportunities. It's only really when it comes to when we're in absolute dire need for a position, like we were when we'd no centre back and we bought Van Dijk and we'd no goalkeeper and we bought Alisson. And if one of the front three, God forbid, left, that's when you're in the mix for Sancho. I mean, otherwise it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, look, I think we're going to make, with the amount of players that are going to leave and there's talk of them leaving, I think we'll probably make 5 or 6 signings. But I mean, people that want to see the cash being splashed, they're going to be left disappointed. And they'll be looking at other teams strengthening while we're standing still, as they said last summer.
Yeah.
Well, United spent 200 million last summer and got the exact same amount of points. Okay, albeit they've qualified for the Champions League this time and finished third, but
that's only down to the ineptitude of everyone else. Like 66 points, like
but like I mean, this Liverpool team we're looking at now has been a project of Klopp's for 5 years, and we're seeing the product of it now. And do we see one of the strongest, you know, the sort of strongest 14 players leave this summer? I don't think so. Maybe there's been rumblings about Wijnaldum and Thiago coming in if they can't sort out his contract. But after that, you know, you're not going to see big names coming in. So and look, no matter who Klopp gets, whether he gets the Greek lad or he gets Jamal Lewis, they're going to be quality. Guaranteed.
That's the thing. People forget, you know, they look at, we'll go on to Mandi, right? He's getting a bit of stick in the chat as well, you know, the Algerian Lovren and all that. I don't think many people know Mandi
come on, let's be honest
too well.
How many people have seen Real Betis playing more than 5 times this
season? I'd like, you know what, I'd like to think loads have, because they go on about Fekir all the bleeding time, that I'd like to think that they've noticed Mandi playing. But what I'm saying is, right, what I'm saying about Mandi is the Algerian captain, or vice captain, right? He's one of the leaders of the Algerian team. That includes Mahrez, you know, there's good players in there. Yeah. He plays all the time in La Liga and for Betis, you know, and under loads of managers, he's a good player. He's a quick centre back. He's not good in the air. He's 6'1", but he's on a par with the likes of a Joe Gomez. It's how he gets compared with. They're saying he's not as good in the air as Van Dijk or Matip, but they're 6'4", 6'5". He's not going to be that good in the air, but he is very quick over the ground. And he did start as a right back at Reims in France. So he's played at full back and he's played at left back. So he can cover the back three. Now that, to me, it does make sense because he's a leader. He's got over 300 games.
Yeah, no, he's honestly, like he does. I think I only remember really playing for Algeria, to be honest, in the AFCON. But he's gonna suit Liverpool if he comes, because he is quick and he's front footed, and he can play them long diagonals that Van Dijk does play and Trent does play. So like these are the kind of things that Klopp is looking for. Now maybe we get linked with these players because, you know, lads are well able to mooch around transfermarket.com and find players who do the similar things and just act like they're our boys in the bunker, you know, the laptops. But when you hear names like that and you look up, you're like, it makes a bit of sense. Some names come up and it doesn't make any sense.
It does. It reminds you of Clavan, doesn't it? Like, they got him from nowhere. Yeah. He was a good player and he moved on for first team football. This could be what that's like. What do you think?
I don't know what way to think on this, because, like, right, if you look at it, we get rid of Lovren for 11 million, right? We signed this fella for 7, for argument's sake. Lovren was on probably 80 or 90 grand a week. This probably fella comes in on 40. Right, so you're halving your wage bill in that sense, and you're making 3 or 4 million quid. But what happens if the fucking centre backs get injured? You know, are you going to be confident enough to bring this fella in and play him? And I don't know if you would be. But, well, it has to be a financial thing then, because he obviously, if it wasn't financial with Lovren, it was we're not comfortable with him anymore. How is he any better than Lovren? I don't know.
But do you,
I don't watch
Gav, do
football,
you design your transfer strategy around the risk of your top players getting injured? It's almost impossible to do that.
I know
you
that,
need
Andy,
to have ready-made top quality.
Andy, it makes sense if they said we can get rid of Lovren and bring this fella in because we like Lovren. We like it, the standard he's at. We like what he does when he's in the side. We have a very similar player over here that's going to cost us half the amount every week, and we're going to make 4 million profit out of the deal overall. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm just not 100% sure that's what it is, though. You know, that kind of way. Yeah. And if it's not a financial thing where they've just said we can do a quick swap here, we get, what age is this lad?
28.
28, so he's around Lovren's age anyway. So it's not an age thing. But it's not a massive. It's not like he's 22 and Lovren is 29. You know, that kind of way. It's one of those where, to me, you'd hope it's just a clever financial move where you can keep the standard where you want it, but you make some money back at the same time. If it's not that, you're looking saying they weren't mad on Lovren's level as a stud. He goes out and this guy comes in and he's at the same level and you're still worrying. And I know what Andy's saying, you don't plan about around your best players getting injured. You do plan around the squad though. And you should look to improve your squad, Andy. Making a change for the sake of making a change and not improving. Now I'm not saying he wouldn't, he might be better than Lovren. But it just, to me, at £7 million, I would doubt he's better than Dejan Lovren.
It's Dan puts a point up there, right? He thinks we only saw Lovren because he wanted to leave for first team football, and that's true. That's Lovren. They were close to selling him last summer, and I think he stuck around. Klopp's a huge fan of Lovren, and I think it was just more the case of he only got 15 games or something this year, and it's right. We can't guarantee you the games. We'll let you have the move, and they've probably looked then at the likes of Mandi as a player that they could bring in and get more use out of. You know, maybe it is just a little clever one to replace one with one, but I think it's one that they'll, you know, they didn't just pull Mandi out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? They have him well scouted and they'll know what he can and can't do. So
I think for a long time, a lot of us have been saying that between Matip and Lovren, one of them had to go because between the two of them, they don't make up a full season of fitness.
Yeah.
So it just makes complete sense. Lovren goes, right, wants to play his first team football. You got to be bringing in someone who's fit. Now, from looking up Mandi's numbers, he seems to play most games. He seems to be available. That's all we need. Yeah. Right? We have Gomez, who seems to be Klopp's first choice partner for Van Dijk. Gomez has his own problems with injury, and sometimes he slips in and out of form. It's nice to bring in fresh legs then. You need to make sure that they're fit. And with Matip, we can't guarantee. With Lovren, we certainly couldn't guarantee it. Now, you know, I've also seen links of Matip away too. So, can't imagine just letting them go. But certainly for a fourth player there, and don't forget, we've a few youngsters there in Van den Berg, Hoover, Phillips, all biting there to come in. I just think it makes sense rather than be splashing. Like there's names like I need to scroll back through the comments.
Koulibaly and stuff like that is being mentioned. Being mentioned.
Koulibaly, the Diego lad,
Diego Carlos, Skriniar and all these guys off Inter, like big top dollar players.
Yeah, and these are players that if Gomez had to go for whatever reason, or Van Dijk. I mean, these are the players you start getting linked with them because you're going to be playing. Koulibaly has to play every single fucking game. Simple as that. And you pay. Would you pay big money for him? What is their contract scenario there? That you get him cheap? I don't know. But
you'd be lucky to get him for 60 million, right?
Yeah.
60. You'd be doing well.
But you see, if you get rid of Matip, because Andy's mentioned Matip there, right?
Yeah.
So if you get rid of Matip and you go for a Koulibaly, right? Fair enough. I think there's better options out there, being honest with you. I think the fact that he's left-sided, Van Dijk's the best fucking defender in the world, but I want to see him play left-hand side of Liverpool, right? You have Joe Gomez there. So if you get rid of Joe Matip and you bring in Koulibaly, he's going to look to play. You know, he is going to look to play. Koulibaly's 30 years old, by the way. But, you know, and that didn't come off the top of my head. It was Stephen Mack told me. But But when you look at it, like it's more of a disruption, I find, to the squad. Now, don't get me wrong, you could sign the Worldy and you go, he's just fucking brilliant, and he'll fit in. But my worry is that Lovren goes, this guy Mandi comes in, and say Matip goes, and they decide we're going to bring in, say, a Ben White for 25 million quid, just for argument's sake. Now, people think I have this vendetta against Ben White. I don't. But the thing is, you end up then with Gomez and Van Dijk, and you have two fellas that know nothing about us as the backup. At least Matip and Lovren knew what way we were trying to do. They knew how to get on with things. You need bedding in time for this, and I think it's just too
tacit knowledge, Gav.
No, but I think it's too much of a risk to have two backup centre halves that haven't played for the club yet going into a new season. That's just my opinion on it. I think,
and that's why I don't think Matip.
I don't think the Matip thing happens either.
No, and look, I refer to it there. Tacit knowledge you can't knowledge that's hard to transfer from one person to another, right? Lovren and Matip have been soaking it up for years. Players come in like Robertson, Fabinho, and they take a long time. Ox, I've just been around the squad, just seeing what Klopp expects, sitting on the bench, sitting in the stands, watching what's expected of them when they do get their chance. You bring in two lads, two brand new ears, and it's a bit like it's as you say. Look, it's just too risky. It's too risky. You could literally lose the league on a decision, a mistake like that by being stuck with a young fella or someone who hasn't been used to being around the squad, having to play, and then they're just not getting it, and they lose confidence, and we're leaking goals, and we're drawing games that we should have won. So it's even to have these players hanging around like Matip, even if he doesn't play too many games, he's still a positive influence on the defense.
Exactly. You have your main two, and if between Matip, Van Dijk, and Gomez, if you can get a full season, 2 full seasons out of those 3 players, if you get me, you're fine, and you have your fourth man as a backup. That's absolutely fine. But I don't see the Matip thing happening. I really don't.
If it was Whopper money, you can't see them being tempted with his age profile, his injury record. I mean, he was available less than Lovren. Is it something they might do and look and say, right, we bring in, for argument's sake, right, we bring in...
It has to be a Worldy.
And does it have to be a Worldy? Because I know you mentioned, right, Koulibaly there, right? Not
only for ability, but adaptability and being able to take Liverpool's game very quickly on your mind and being able to play. Because if you're a Worldy, you're probably looking to push Gomez out. So you have to be able to go in there and go, I'm brilliant and I want to play, and Joe Gomez doesn't play anymore. I think it's very hard. I just don't see it happening, Keith.
If you look at the list, right, of players that we've been linked with, right, and Ozan Kabak from Schalke was linked, 20 years old. Edmund Tapsoba from Leverkusen was linked, and he's the next Koulibaly. Do you know what I mean? A big, strong, physical, quick centre back. Liverpool more likely to go down that route. Ben White. Ben White's a young centre back. Do you go down that route and then say, right, Mandi plus one of those two, just for argument's sake, if Matip was to go, right? So you get 50 million for Matip, you get 11 million for Lovren, you bring in Mandi. Now the figures being mentioned there, Liverpool apparently have offered 9 million, Betis are holding out for 11. But you do that, let's say
they seen us sell a defender for 11 million last week.
Exactly. So but let's say they get him for 9, right? And you bring in one of the others for 25, because that'll be the figure you're looking at for Ben White. That'll be the figure you're looking at for Kabak. That'll be the figure you're looking at for Tapsoba. Does it not make sense to do that and get the money in and look to put it elsewhere, or are we just don't see it happening? I know what I'm saying about the disruption, but we're not taking them out of first team. Their reserves, they could sort of ease in. Mandi as they're more experienced.
But up till 6 months ago, we were all talking about a debate over Matip or Gomez.
Yeah.
So you'd have to presume on both on fit and on form, there's very little between Joe Matip and Joe Gomez, right? So, listen, there could be a centre half out there that's going to progress to be amazing. But my argument is that if you have Van Dijk and you have Gomez, Matip is a grand backup, and you might miss him for 10 games a season. You might miss Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez hasn't done a full season for Liverpool in 3 years. Or ever, from my reckoning. Now, people might say, no, he was available all last season. Listen, trust me, for the first 2 months he wasn't, because he was appalling, right?
Yeah.
He might have been there, but it was only in spirit, I think. But my argument is that it's too much of a risk to get two senior, and they are senior centre halves, lose two senior centre halves, and then what happens? Like someone says there, what happens if we lose a league title because we got rid of Matip and we brought in such a fella that just wasn't used to Liverpool and needed bedding into it, and it cost us. That's what I'm saying. 50 million is mad money. But Nathan Aki at 41 million, Harry Maguire at 85 million, 50 million for Joe Matip doesn't seem completely ridiculous. But I'd be surprised if it happened. What I would say to you is, Keith, if they were to get 50, I think they might do what you're saying. They go 25 and they go and put it somewhere else in the team. But they'd have to be very, very good at what they do with 25 million for a centre-half that will more than likely play games, judging on Joe Gomez and Joe Matip's past performances and
that's it.
Fitness records.
It's only if a whopper fee was to come in for him. It could be all rumours about PSG offering, but it with the fee and all that, it would be hard. Yeah, Shawnee puts it in there, free transfer and all. It would be business-wise, it'd be a great move. But from a playing point of view, I think he's excellent, Matip. I wouldn't be looking to move him on. Maybe next summer if you want to do that, but certainly not now. Before we move on, lads, we've got 200 watching and 68 likes. So if you're watching in there, just give it a little thumbs up, a little like there, please, and subscribe, all the good stuff for anyone that hasn't done it, and you'll never miss any of this sort of stuff ever again. I see we have Ismaila Sarr on the screen there, and it's one I want to talk about as well. It's one that seems to be, I wouldn't say not going away, but it's a constant link. Now, are we reading too much into the link with Sarr in the fact that that Sadio had a little word with Troy Deeney saying he's his little brother and to look after him, or something you could see doing? I mean, we have traditionally looked at the relegated teams, Andy, haven't we, to bring in?
Yeah, he's my. I want to sponsor him to go to Liverpool. If I had the money, I'd pay for him. He's the man. He's the fucking man to be back up to our front three. He's so hungry, so quick. He would fit the bill. The only reservation I'd have is if we're buying a backup for our front three, they can't be an African player, because we need someone.
That's where we lose them.
That I can't have fucking three at the front, 3 out of 4 players that can play going off. You know what I mean? When they do make a decision over it, like whether it's going to be January, February, March, or next summer, who knows? I don't fucking know. But that's the danger. But he looks to me like he's going to be quality. Now, what's being spoke about 40 million. But I'd love him to come in now while Mane's still in the club for the next few years, put his arm around him and make him fucking quite. He just has so much about him. I see people going on about the fella off Wolves, fucking Traore. And I mean, I just can't stand one-trick ponies.
Yeah.
Liverpool are way, way beyond his standard. You know what I mean? He needs to play against teams who play high for a start, that he can get in behind, and he just outruns and outmuscles players. And then his delivery is all these chipped crosses, right? Okay, it's improved. But you look at Sarr was a handful for us in both games. He missed a couple of sitters, didn't he, in Anfield?
Yeah.
And he was...
Did a fresh air job, didn't he?
Yeah, and I remember when all that was happening, and Mane was saying he was his bro and look after him to Deeney, and Deeney was saying this, that, and I was looking at him, and he's head down and everything else, and I just went, that's what I love. Like that's the player I want to come to Liverpool, and Klopp to show him the way, and I think he'd be fucking brilliant.
Gav, what do you make of the links with Ismaila Sarr?
Yeah, he was a problem for us in both games, particularly. Actually, probably more so at Anfield. Although I think he scores. Does he score twice at Vicarage Road against us? But he's probably more of a danger at Anfield, believe it or not, and only for he was a bit all over the shop in front of goal. He could have had 2 or 3 at Anfield, and I think that's where that little clip about Mane comes in. I think Mane is literally saying to him, you know, don't worry about today, because it could have got a player down in a big way, especially a young player. I know where he's coming from with the whole African thing, but that's going to be January 2022, and I don't think both Mane and Salah will be here in 2022. So
we also have Keita and Mandi as well. That we risk that as well.
Mandi,
our boy Mandi.
Mandi's heading off. So you know, but listen,
and then I'm talking getting Matip, who's retired from the international football.
But they still bring him, don't they? They still select him, and then we have to go through a wrangle that we can't play him because he refuses to go.
But it's look,
true.
Everything aside, I know where you're coming from, but he has brilliant potential. But so is Harvey Elliott, lads. And you see, this is where I'm trying to get to. Does he improve our squad to the point where you will be happy to see him play 6, 8, 10 games in a row because Salah or Mane is missing? Does he have that output? I'm not too sure. Now, Klopp could bring him in, and in 6 months you could have him buzzing off the Premier League and having a laugh. Do you know what I mean? And doing all sorts of stuff. But I don't. It could happen. A lot of people seem to think it will, but I'm not too sure where he would go and play if he would have the impact required. I'm not asking him to do 44 goals a season, but I am asking him if he makes 15 starts for Liverpool, you're probably going to need 7, 8, 9 goals out of him, because that's the level the lads are at. And I don't know if he's at that. Klopp could do it. The money be interesting. Apparently, I seen in the chat Watford are looking for 40 million. I seen a figure earlier of around 30 million. You're probably looking around 25.
Watford are looking for Elton John to buy the club back as well. We don't always get what we want in these things.
But listen, he has got a lot of potential. I don't know if that. I could probably see Liverpool trying to persevere with Origi for another season, and then looking to go big next season. With regards to a front 3 player, and it may coincide with a Salah or a Mane leaving. That's just my opinion on it.
Can I stop you there, lads? Because I got a message on Twitter, a private message from one of the listeners called 7 Ads, and he asked about when you knew we were doing the transfer show to bring up, when you thought it'd be yourself and Grizz on, Gav, he said to bring up the idea of Kylian Mbappe to Liverpool. Now, we all know that's not going to happen, right? We can pretty much guarantee that's not going to happen now. But is it something that could happen next summer with a Salah going the other way? And I know everyone says, Salah go. If it was something, and Ads did say, you know, if Salah was agreeable to it, it wasn't that he was being forced or being thrown out. Could you see Liverpool doing something like that, a blockbuster for a Kylian Mbappe or a Kylian Mbappe type player to replace one of the front 3 next summer?
Andy, you're going to take that forward because you're optimistic, Joe. So something like this.
Do you know what? Like, remember last year there was a few tweets and all, and he was kind of flirting with us on the Instagram stuff and the likes and the follows and all. Yeah, but that's cooled off a lot. And I just got into my head that maybe this summer, that with Nike taking over, then it might be one of those big signings that tends to happen with these deals, and that Nike essentially pay for it. But no, he's never going to play for Liverpool. He's going to come in and want 500 grand a week. And again, like, one of our front 3 has to go. Actually, Mane or Salah has to go in order to sign a player like that. And I know who I prefer out of the 2 of them. Like, look, Mbappe's a dream. You know what I mean? To have one of the best players in the world playing. But we've 2 of the best players in the world, and Mane and Salah, who suit our style and who suit our dressing room, and have the hunger and desire. I just think Mbappe might be just too much of a personality. I don't really know him, actually. Like, if anyone in the chat knows, man.
Doesn't be down in the Vulcan, no.
yeah, maybe sound. But yeah, no, Shawnee's there, Madrid, and that. Like that's it's not going to happen.
It's pie in the sky stuff, really, isn't it? It's fantasy stuff, and it's the sort of thing that Liverpool, we'll say for an hour gone that Liverpool don't do these sort of signings, and then we'll throw Mbappe up.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one that, you know, if they were to replace, you know, one of the main men, it would have to be a player of that ilk that they're getting in that would appease the fans. But we could pretty much guarantee it wouldn't be a player of that ilk. It would be some other 20-year-old player that's the next Kylian Mbappe that Liverpool will probably be looking at. Could be Harvey Elliott. Who knows? As Gav said, you know, we could have the new Mo Salah in there already, but it's just mad how the transfers work. One I want to talk about, I don't know if you are familiar with the work and the career and the CV of following Balogun of Arsenal's youth teams. He's been linked with us. Yeah, into him. He's been linked with an £8 million move to us. Now, he can't get into the Arsenal team behind Eddie Nketiah and some other fellow I never heard of, as well as their front. But apparently we're looking at this. What have you heard, Gav?
No, I was talking to Grizz the other day, and he was saying he was linked. And I don't know where Grizz got it from. He just said this fella's being linked from Arsenal. And
it came in his magic box this morning.
Oh, he got his jersey. It was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah. When the lads opened up Trippers HQ this morning, it was sitting there, and when the
gleaming, and I had a little letter in it with a list of players that are signing.
Yeah. A little list. Yeah, no, the name come up. I thought Grizz was making it up, and you know, making up the name. Never mind that else. Yeah. But I just said, I said to him, "Who's that?" And he said, "Oh, he's the young lad off Arsenal. He's meant to be the business. Liverpool are looking at him." So, but you know, Dan says there, he looks decent. He thinks he's American, and
he is
Brentford
American, but he plays for the England youth teams.
Okay,
he's an England youth international. But it's a mad one, like, because
it is when you think of
why would we do
a
it?
Strange one when you think of like we've a top young striker out on loan, bashing goals in for Swansea, and is our next big thing, you know, that kind of way. So I don't know
exactly.
Could it be an opportunity where they just see something wrong at Arsenal and they go and they steam in and get him? Could be one of those.
But for that sort of money, it seems a bit heavy. You know what I mean? Like 8 million. For a player that's nowhere near their first team. It's I'm saying this to Andy, it sort of stinks of a Bobby Duncan type of move to me, you know, a player that's not got the patience to.
What happened to the fella that was 21 but looked about 37 that we signed off Brentford? He was banging in goals.
Joe Hardy.
Yeah, what's happening there?
He's still playing for the under-16s. He's great. Boys the cans for them.
He's playing for the legends now.
The Masters.
Him and Paddy Berger up in Glasgow bashing in goals in the 5-side. And I was just wondering. He always pops into my mind every so often, that fella. Because I remember coming on against... Was it Shrewsbury came on in the cup and I went, he's not fucking 21. But I was just
It'd be interesting to see what happens, Brewster. Like... If we hadn't had this conversation about Brewster getting a chance next season 3 months ago, or just before COVID, say, people would have laughed and says, "No, that ship's kind of sailed." The Klopp talked up a lot 2 summers ago, and we all thought he was gonna
give him a go.
He was gonna give him a go all that season, and we were waiting, and it never happened. So then it looked like it was never really going to happen for him. And now, since the return of football, he's banging the goals in. All of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh, Brewster again." But I'm sure there's more to come from Brewster, and he probably goes out alone next season again. Maybe gets a Premier League loan with guarantees that he plays a bit of first team football. That's probably the next best move for him.
Yeah,
rather than come back to Liverpool and not play any more first team football.
It is a precarious sort of age, isn't it? That he needs, after a season of doing so well, he does need to be playing. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. Maybe we do have the answers within the squad. Maybe it is Brewster and maybe it is Harvey Elliott that are the front players that will save us millions. It just doesn't make sense to me that we'd be buying a lot off Arsenal's youth team for that money. We probably wouldn't say we wouldn't take him, but in a summer where we supposedly skint, we're not going to give 8 million for a project.
Yeah, it's a name that's popped up there. Maybe they see massive potential and they feel that that's the money that will be taken. A lot of these players at this age sometimes run down the contract. You get them and they end up in a tribunal, like Harvey Elliott, Danny Ings as well, actually at the time. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's a name that's just popped up, but the age and the profile of him, and then when you look at what's going on with Brewster, I'm not too sure. It's probably a 2 or 3 out of 10 to happen with it.
Yeah, can't see it. Can't really see it happen.
Good. Yeah.
Before we go on, any more Liverpool news, Gav? What about Thiago Anton there? Have you heard that?
Yeah, a little bit of news on them today. So we spoke to someone today, and we genuinely did. We spoke to someone today that will be close to the club, and they reckon that all this Thiago talk is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Club haven't spoken to Bayern, haven't spoken to the player. The only thing coming out about this is the player is telling people close to him that he wants to play for Liverpool. Now, Grizz and others is absolutely convinced that Thiago will be a Liverpool player. And, Bayern's Champions League participation will dictate if and when he gets to sign for Liverpool or come to Liverpool or talk to Liverpool. But the news we got tonight, early evening, was no. And we got it by chance. We just happened to be talking to somebody by chance, and it came up and basically said no, there's been no contact with the player. There's been no contact with Bayern, and Liverpool don't seem that interested in Thiago Alcantara. I'm a bit surprised. I'm a bit upset, to be honest with you, but I think
I wouldn't say you're the only one.
I think it's a cracking player, but that's the word we got tonight. Listen, the person he spoke to, he's in no way telling us stuff for the crack. He put it out there to us. So yeah. Do you want
to set a date for you paying that charity bet then?
What charity bet?
Oh, what charity bet?
Yeah, what? Just tell me the terms of the bet again.
Well, you says that Thiago was definitely going to sign for Liverpool.
No, I didn't.
And I said
no. I said Thiago would sign for Liverpool and Gino Wijnaldum would stay. And you said the only circumstance would be that Thiago signed, Wijnaldum would be gone.
So the charity's going to lose out now because
charity's fucked if he doesn't sign.
Your technicality.
I'll tell you what we do. If he doesn't sign, me and you'll just go half and give it to a charity. How does that sound?
No, because I think I made my statement very clear.
So did I.
Yeah, I hope I didn't.
Hold on. You said. Hold on. You said the only scenario where Thiago Alcantara signs Liverpool is Gino Wijnaldum leaves. I said no, Gino Wijnaldum can definitely stay and we could sign Thiago Alcantara. If he doesn't sign, neither of us are wrong, right?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
What are you doing? Are you writing something as a solicitor there or something? You seem to be scrawling very hard.
I've written down something there and I got to cross check it with your actual because all of our pods are recorded now.
Of course they are. I know, I record them.
So
but I do edit them as well.
Yeah.
Now let's not have him giving 50 quid to charity, but I'm not doing it because you're lying to me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm almost certain what the circumstances of our bet was. I said that the only way he comes to Liverpool was if they can't sort out the Wijnaldum contract.
Mm-hmm.
And you says, "Oh no, like he's done. He's signing."
Right. Okay. We'll go back. If you can find it, you go back and play it to me. Record it through your fancy phone and send it on, and then we'll talk about it. But if you want me to just give 50 quid to charity because we're having a bit of crack, that's absolutely fine. The second thing is Gino Wijnaldum. The word from this man today was that Gino Wijnaldum there's a contract there, but he's not signing it. And the club stance is that if Gino Wijnaldum doesn't sign a contract, they will let it run down and he will leave for free the next summer. That's what I have.
Put you that crash helmets on
because very strange. It's a strange approach from the club to say we'll just let the contract run down.
Mm. Well, the way they could look at Andy is that they feel that he's a vital asset to the team. And instead of getting rid of him and trying to fix that problem now, they get another year out of it. And what are they going to get from with a year left in his deal anyway?
Yeah. I mean, they'd be lucky to get 20 million from him.
I think you go lower than that.
Yeah, 15.
Because you try selling
League
now.
winner, Champions League winner.
Listen,
maybe.
if Bayern Munich are looking at Gini Wijnaldum, they're saying to Gini Wijnaldum, listen, don't do anything. In January, we'll get you for 10, 5. And if not, we just take you for free in the summer and we give you the money. You know what I mean? That's how it works now. That's how contracts work. So Liverpool are probably looking going, let's, for the sake of 10 million quid, let's just get the best of Gini Wijnaldum for one more season and shake his hand and send him on his way. I still think he signs a deal though. Then Thiago
wouldn't be
signs.
surprised.
Then Andy has to pay 50 quid to my charity. That's what I think happens.
Oh, I think the bet is strictly to do with Thiago.
Not changing the terms of that.
No, definitely. The terms are, you said the only way he signs for Liverpool is if Gini Wijnaldum goes out the door, and I said no, that he can sign for Liverpool, and I still think Wijnaldum would stay. You were basically saying it all depends on Wijnaldum going if Thiago comes in, and I disagreed. We can go back. We can find the show fairly.
Yeah,
easy.
we look.
I'm sure
I've had to pay a charity bet before
on behalf of someone else that lost to you.
On behalf of someone else who lost.
Who
So I'll do it again. No?
They remain nameless.
No. Do you want me to name them?
I'm going to show you what you do. But listen, if you go back and look for that show, I think it's called Andy is Wrong. I think that was the name of the show. So it'll be fairly easy to find, I'd say.
If you just changed it.
Yeah, I've just done it now. Andy was wrong. So, no, that's the news. That's the news what we got tonight. So
interesting news, you know, because it's something that I think people do get fixated upon, you know. And when the Thiago thing doesn't happen, whether it happens or not, but when it doesn't, there'll be absolute outrage, and you know, it'll be probably a good time to close down your social media because it'll just be off the charts when that doesn't happen, when you go somewhere else. But we can still see Liverpool doing bits, you know, whether it's Thiago or not. We can, as we've seen the news tonight, Lewis is getting linked. We've seen Mandi being linked, Ben White still being linked. So that still could be moves by Liverpool. They just may not be the sexiest moves. And that's the thing. We're not looking to buy first team players. You know, we're looking to supplement squads. And we're in a different ball game to the likes of Man U, to Chelsea, to Spurs, to other teams. You know what? We have that luxury. They have to catch us. You know, whereas we're flying. Is there any other rumours you just want to talk about, lads, before we
Courtney Neary has a rumour here that we're both going to pay the full amount, and then it's a win-win for charity.
I'll tell you what, if Courtney Neary matches the full amount as well, I'll do that. 350
50 quid each.
And then Courtney pays another 50 quid.
Right. And then what charity
then we just forget the bet and we just pay it.
Using her 50 and we keep ours. No.
So just do it. Just Courtney, if you want to just do a super chat there for €50.
Don't do that. I fucking hate that. Fucking prick you.
I know.
No, listen, we'll sort out the charity thing, and me and Andy will pay it. There's no doubt we will pay.
No problem. We'll pay it out with Trev's present money.
Update. Courtney Neary, that name rings a bell. I think she's follows on Instagram. Goes live quite a bit. Massive Liverpool fan. Santiago Arena says the bet was Andy saying that Gini and Thiago would never play football together for Liverpool, and Gav saying no. He's 100% sure of it. Now it's taking a twist.
No, I don't think I said it just like that. Listen,
I think
I mean, look. This isn't about the money anymore. This is
it's the principle of the thing. It's an affidavit now at this stage.
I have a bit written down there now. Whatever, if it's.
I heard you scrawled it with a brick.
Yeah. And I've sent it by pigeon to your gaff. No, I didn't say that because what could also happen is Thiago signs for Liverpool, Gini stays but doesn't sign his contract and leaves for free in the summer.
Will you fucking stop? They play football together.
Yeah, but I don't think I said it like that. I said the only reason Thiago signs for Liverpool is if Gini hasn't signed his contract by then, or something along them lines.
Oh, jeez, there's so many fucking things here. You'd be great in Cass, you would. You would have got City on the deal.
Couldn't even have gone to Cast if he had been.
If you'd have been in charge, Cass would have gave City 10
I
million.
love how Keith is just staying out of this. Like he's not even attempted. He's not even
costing me
attempted
50 blips
to mediate.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Courtney stepped in there to mediate. She's doing a fantastic job, right? It's after costing that 50 to do that. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's a bad move. We'll just sit back and relax.
No, we'll find the show and we'll definitely get the word on it.
Interesting in the chat there before. Sorry for interrupting you. Our bet talk. Who put it in? David Walsh put it in there. And I don't know if this is breaking news or just a thought that LaRouche off to Norwich as part of the Jamal Lewis deal. Is that something that's been mentioned, David, or anyone, or is it just an idea?
I think I've seen a couple of people in the chat mention that earlier. Is LaRouche still under contract or is he out of contract?
No, I think he's under contract.
Right, so I think he might have a year left.
Yeah.
And Liverpool could look to move him on. Yeah, that would make sense. You end up getting Jamal Lewis for 6 or 7 million quid, and that has made.
Yeah, he says David Lynch has said it.
David Lynch has said it. Yes,
friend
there
of
you
the
go.
show.
Close personal friend. Yeah. Yeah, it's one. It's
Madak as well.
It would make sense. It would make sense. Let me see. Hold on, Andy. Courtney says, or do live where all donations made to the super chat go to charity too. What? Open it up one night. Open the super chats up. Allow them one night, and everything we get in goes to the charity.
Yeah. Okay. Courtney would do anything not to have to pay this 50 €.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I need to come up with a solution here. Right.
Sweat pouring off. What the fuck are we going to do here? I shouldn't have said anything. No, look, don't worry. We won't make you pay 50 quid, Courtney. But that's a good idea. We could open the dreaded super chat one night and everything going to charity.
Have a charity night. Yeah, I like that. Do we a bit? Why not?
Yeah, we'll do that one night. That's a great idea. We're not against that.
We're on 98 likes, people, so 200
hit
watching.
Hit
2 more, will you? So get us over that hump. We're probably done now on rumours. I want to just talk about the Predictor Ace that we have. We're going to get setting up. I believe you've got the groundwork done on that one, have you? You've the email address and all is set up. Everything's good to go.
The email address is set up. We've got quite a good few into the email with our first 10 answers, right? But somebody pointed out to me the other day that, lads, listen, what's going to happen here is you're going to get, people just lashing you with 50 answers come the end. They won't wait, you know what I mean? Or they will wait for the 50 and then do it all together. So what we're going to do is we have a promo video coming up during the week. By the end of this week, it'll be sorted out. Basically what it'll be a short promo video. It'll be on YouTube and it'll be the perfect link to this competition. So what you will do is you will watch the video. I'll explain everything to you in a couple. When I say a 2 or 3 minute video, that means 6 or 7 because that's how we work. But in the description of that will be the 50 questions. Okay, 1 to 50. You take them down. You write your answers down 1 to 50, and you send them to the email address, which will be provided in the description. It's very simple. We're going to collate them all. We're going to have basically we're going to have a big book, right? We're going to go back old school here. We're going to have a big book. We're going to write your name on the top with your email address, and we're going to stick all your answers down, and we're going to keep doing that until the season starts, basically. And then at the end of the season, we'll tot them all up. Whoever comes out on top, we're going to work on prizes throughout the season. We're going to gather them all up together, and then we're just going to give them all out at the end of the season. We don't know whether we're going to do something where all the prizes we get goes to one person, or we'll split them up 4th, 2nd, 3rd, or We'll try our best to get as much as we possibly can for you. But it's a bit of crack. And, of course, people love predicting football. So you have to put your, not your money where your mouth is because it's free. But you just go in, you put your predictions in. And then if you're absolutely terrible at it, we're absolutely going to fucking hammer you come the end of the season. But if you win, if you score like 50 out of 50 or 48 out of 50, we could probably name a show after you or a segment after you come the end of the season. So, that's it. Watch out for it. It'll be on YouTube. We'll have it on Twitter. We'll have the link on Instagram, and it's going to be very simple. Watch the video, click on the description, read the questions, give your answers, and send one email. That'll be it. People that have already sent their first 10 questions or 10 answers, you can just send the last 40, or you can just send the email saying, here's me 50. You know what I mean? If you wanted to change one of the first 10, we give you that opportunity. But we have a list of who already has sent us stuff, so it'll be very simple. If I come across your name, I go, he sent us 10, so here's his 40. It'll make a lot of sense. So it's going to be good. We're going to have a bit of crack with it. We're going to update on it most weeks, if we can talk about, what's happening and stuff like that. And of course, anyone that's out there, if you're watching and you'd like to donate some sort of prize to it, it can be football related or it could be anything. It could be you could be work for a company that does vouchers. I don't know. If you want to donate that, we will give your company a mention every time we talk about this, which will probably be once a week for 40 weeks. So you're getting a mention every single week for the price of a voucher and the price of some sort of merchandise. So that's how it's going to work.
That's it. It sounds amazing. And I know you all had the Trippers one, an internal one, and it was good crack on through the answers and all that last week. Yeah. And that's what this will be. It's just an idea came from Stuart, one of the lads that's done this before, and we thought it was a great idea. We thought it was a great idea that to get everybody involved, make it so interactive that everyone can do it and can keep on track with it. Get a prize at the end of the season. Happy days. It's all good. Why wouldn't you?
Well, that's it.
Free.
And
Free
Stuart Davis did give us the idea. And in fairness to him, he supplied us with the questions. He just said, look, I'll do it if you put it out there, which we are. And Stuart, fair play to him. He's done a lot of work on it. We're putting it out there. So thanks to him, of course. But this is what I'm talking about when I say, I'm not lying when I say the viewers drive this show. I'm not lying to you. Like, if you look at all the drafts we done, that started off... Dylan Westwood, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Giving us an idea one night, and we just ran with it, and we kept running with it, and we'd probably go back to it at some stage. I was actually thinking of one last night, believe it or not. But this is what I'm talking about. Bring ideas, and we go for it, whether it's stuff to talk about, competitions or quizzes or whatever it is, bring it to us, because we're not lying when we say you drive the show, because people giving you ideas, go and do them, because if a fella in the chat thinks that's good, the chances are someone else thinks it's good, and that's all you want to do is have a good time. And the drafts will be back, the quizzes will be back during pre-season, the transfer stuff will be there, and of course we'll be looking towards this Predictor Ace as well.
Excellent stuff.
Go for it.
Go for it. Exactly. It's all free, as is everything that we do.
Free
of charge,
free.
Zero money. Except for the super chats, which I see Santiago stitching me up now, talking about the charity can be a hair transplant for me.
See that, yeah.
Which, this is a choice, Santiago. This is not an affliction. This is a choice. I just didn't have a choice about it.
That's the truest statement as Andy's about his bet there a minute ago now, I'm being honest with you.
We'll soon find out.
We will. Well, listen, if you want to go, you will go back and find that anyway. I know you will.
Find it now in a minute.
Leading Jessica Fletcher there.
You're fucked.
But you put a long trench coat on him now and start smoking because cigars while he looks through the podcast feed. But yeah, no, I think we're done.
Yeah, I don't listen. Thanks everyone for joining us there tonight. It's been the Transfer Agenda show. We'll be back on Thursday, I think, Gav, is that right? With another Transfer Agenda event happens, and we may have some 5-minute shows as well through the week. If any news breaks, we'll look to do that. So, Gav, thanks for coming on.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you. Short notice, I know.
Delighted to stand in for Grizz, who had a big day with his jersey and all that. So
that's it. A lot of packaging to get rid of and all that.
Yeah, a lot of packaging, a lot of just pictures to be taken.
He has Akif making a frame for it, I'd say, tonight. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's it. Exactly.
The only bogey about the free jerseys really is the having your real name and the number going around now, isn't it? Like, it's it's like getting Dad 40 on the back of a jersey, isn't it?
They took it out of your hand, didn't they?
You never see that
even put it on eBay.
You never see Ma and 40 on the back of a jersey.
No,
you never see that. So there you go.
Yeah. But it's mad, you can't even get the jersey. Isn't it like crazy? The 26th, the week of the 26th of August is the next time they're going to be delivered from the official club shop.
Yeah. Madness.
Yeah. We ordered one for Danny. For Danny, and with all the bells and whistles, and I put it through and was like, this would be grand now. And they were like, no, 24th of August, that's the fourth day we'll start delivering this.
But I have a little nugget for you. The more stock will be on the night.com website on the 6th, which is Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
British Standard Time?
I assume so. I'm set up with an alert. I'm gonna go the whole hog and get the Vapor fit jersey.
Oh,
Are you?
love it. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, you might as well, because the bleeding scruffy Air Max you bought.
They're not scruffy, and
The bleeding state of them.
99% of people
Adam and
agree
Paul.
with me.
Adam and Paul.
They
You
are-
asked me and 9 of your family members, I'd say.
Look,
I'm an Air Max man. I think that.
knows.
Come here.
everybody needs to have a pair of Air Max.
Yeah, they do, and a Vapor jersey as well.
And like literally Virgil's Air Max. Not literally, because they're not Virgil's, but they're the same colour as Virgil's.
But they're not the same
Replicas.
as his.
They are the same.
They're not the same, runner.
How aren't they the same?
Because they're different, Andy.
You went
In
too
what
grey
way?
on the grey.
In
You
what
went
way? In
grey
too
on the
grey?
Yeah,
No,
it's too grey.
Virgil actually tried to get the darker grey ones.
He couldn't do it.
And he
And the
couldn't.
darker
Could.
grey ties in with the new Liverpool kit, the dark grey team that's in all that.
It's
so it worked out
much
well for you.
more. It's much more. They're going to be quality. They're going to be quality. Everybody knows. There's Gareth Fennell. Air Max are essential. Where's
There
that
you go.
Gareth? Where's
Yeah,
that
but
my mate Gareth Fennell?
I can't.
That'd be mad if it was. I haven't talked to him in ages.
He's not much of a mate, then, is he?
He lives in practically lives in a different country down in Limerick.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Well,
True.
the stuff will be out at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. That's Limerick time and Dublin time, because they're on the same same time scale. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, indeed,
yeah,
it is.
indeed
It is
it is.
Gareth Fennell, your
Ah,
mate.
that's lovely, isn't it?
Your pretend friend.
Andy's
seen him
born
in
are
ages.
right
And
in
there you
back
go.
himself,
And a good fashion man is Fenler. He knows his runners.
Fenler.
There you go.
Would you not call him Fenners now?
No, he's always been Fenler.
All right, okay.
Fenler. That's it. It's good. It's nice. Anyway, this has been great. This has been transfer tittle tattle. It's been Andy reconnecting with his friends. It's been wonderful. Thanks everyone for joining us. We've been the LFC Daytrippers, and I'll bid you all good night.